Good afternoon students, welcome back to the online classes for 8086 microprocessor. Last class we have discussed about the internal architecture of 8086 microprocessor. It is also called as block diagram of 8086 microprocessor, and in which we have studied the two major parts of internal architecture of 8086 microprocessor. That is having the two major parts, that is bus interfacing unit, and the second one is execution unit. Bus interfacing unit we have discussed, that is it interface with the 8086 microprocessor with the external world, that may be memory or input output devices. It supports the bidirectional way so that it can access the bidirectional bus. And next one is we have discussed about the functionality of bus interfacing unit, that it reads the information from the input output port, and it writes the data into the input output ports. It fetch the instructions from the memory. Likewise, we have studied some specific functions of 8086 microprocessor, that is bus interfacing unit. And the second one we have discussed, that is the execution unit. As we discussed the execution unit, it performs the three major functions. First one is execution unit tells to the BIU, that is bus interfacing unit, from where it has to fetch the instruction, first function. Second function, after fetching the instructions, that by using a decoder, the execution unit decodes that instruction. After that it executes the instructions. So that three functions execution unit performs. It tells to the BIU, bus interfacing unit, from where it has to fetch the instructions. That means from which memory location it has to fetch the instruction from the outside memory. And after fetching the instruction, it decodes the instruction, and after that it executes the instructions. And these two things we have discussed in the last class, and in the last class I have explained the two very important definitions. One is throughput and another one is pipelining concept. Throughput is nothing but the execution of number of instructions in a unit, that is called throughput. That throughput defines the describe the speed of an processor. That means how many number of instructions are executed in a unit time. That is nothing but it is a throughput. Throughput is one of the feature of the speed of the processor. And one more important definition we have discussed in the last class, that is a pipelining concept. Pipelining concept is nothing but the bus interfacing unit will have some instruction queue, that is six instruction queue bytes it has, 6 instruction queue bytes it has, and it fetches the instruction. It fetches the 6 instruction byte of queues, 6 instruction byte instructions, and from the memory, and it held in the instruction queue. It will held in the instruction queue, and execution unit, while it is executing the current instructions, while the current instruction has been executing by the executing unit, the same executing unit will take that 6 instruction byte from the BIU. This concept of taking the 6 instruction bytes from the bus interfacing unit, while the execution unit executing the current instructions, that is named as it is a pipelining concept. In the last class we have discussed the two important things, that is the bus interfacing unit functionality and the execution unit functionality, in which we found the two important things, definitions. One is the throughput, another one is a pipelining concept. In the last classes we have discussed the pin diagram of 8086 microprocessor. In studying the pin diagram of 8086 microprocessor, we have discussed the features of 8086 microprocessor. in which the one of the important feature is related to our current topic, that is register organization. That is feature is it is having 14 16-bit registers. The 8086 microprocessor or a processor or a CPU, internally it has the 14 16-bit of registers. As we discussed earlier, 8086 microprocessor is a 16-bit processor, so that it can handle the 16-bit of data, it can handle the 16-bit of instructions. Likewise, we can call 8086 microprocessor is a 16-bit processor. Whatever the registers are there internally in the 8086 microprocessor, all are 16-bit wide. That means all registers are 16-bit registers, and we have discussed internally the 8086 microprocessor is having the 14 16-bit registers. We have discussed in the last class the 8086 microprocessor is having the 14 16-bit registers. The organization of all those 14 16-bit register is named as a register organization. In the exam, the register organization of 8086 microprocessor can be asked for a long answer question, so that this is very important in the examination point of view, so that pay the little attention more on this topic, that is register organization of 8086 microprocessor. Internally, the 8086 microprocessor is having the total 14 registers, total 14 16-bit registers. All these 14 16-bit registers are divided into 5 classes. All these 14 16-bit registers are divided into 5 categories. First category of this 14 16-bit registers are named as general purpose registers. These are named as general purpose register. Next classification of this the internal register, that is segment register. Next one is indexed register. Next one is pointer registers, and the next one is a flag or status registers. And the total 14 16-bit registers are classified into 5 types: general purpose register, and the segment register, and the next one index register. Next one is pointer registers. Next one is a flag register or status register. In this class, I am going to explain the 3 topics. First one is a description of general purpose register. After that, I am going to explain the segment registers. By using the segment register, how we can calculate the physical address of a memory location of the memory which is interfaced externally to the 8086 microprocessor. 3 topics I am going to cover now. First one is a general purpose register. Second one is a segment register. In the segment register, I am going to explain how to calculate the physical address. Coming to the general purpose register. General purpose register, and we can see the general purpose registers in the 8086 microprocessor, that is particularly in the execution unit. We know that 8086 microprocessor is having the 2 major parts. One is bus interfacing unit, and the next one is the execution unit. In the execution unit, we will find these registers. These are general purpose register. There are 4 general purpose registers we can see in the execution unit of 8086 microprocessor, and all these 4 general purpose registers are denoted as AX, BX, CX and DX. All these 4 registers are 16-bit registers. Default a register is there in the 8086 microprocessor. It is a 16-bit register. There are 14 16-bit registers are there: AX, BX, CX, DX. A stands for accumulator, B stands for base, C stands for count, D stands for data register. And these what are the main functionality of this general purpose registers, I'll explain now. These general purpose register, we are having the 4 general purpose register. These 4 general purpose registers are used to store the data, used to store the variable, used to store the intermediate results. That means it is used to store the data. These 4 registers, AX, BX, CX, DX, accumulator register, base register, count register, data register, all these are used to store the data, used to store the 16-bit of variable, used to store the 16-bit of intermediate results. And then you may have the doubt of that, what is the intermediate result? We know that 8086 microprocessor is having the 2 interrupt signal, that is 2 interrupt pins it is having. One is a non-maskable interrupt, another one is maskable interrupt. Whenever the 8086 microprocessor is executing some current instructions on the given data, if any interrupt signal comes to the processor, then the processor is going to interrupt it. That means it going to stop the execution of current instruction, so that whatever the results so far the processor is having, that results are named as intermediate results. That results will be stored in the general purpose registers. After serving that interrupt signal, again the processor calls that intermediate results, so that again it executes the previous work. That means what? Whenever the processor interrupted by any one of the interruption signal, then it serves the interrupted signal. Then next it recalls the whatever the intermediate results are held in the segment, that general purpose registers, so that it is called as intermediate result. So that here the main functionality of general purpose register, it stores the 16-bit of data, it stores the 16-bit of variable, it also stores the intermediate results, which is nothing but whenever the processor interrupted by the interrupt signal, then that stores the results up to the execution, that it stores in the general purpose register. Then the speed of the processor, that means accessing of the data in the registers is speed compared to the accessing of data from the memory, because memory has interfaced outside to the 8086 microprocessor, but these registers are there inside to the microprocessor. Getting the data from these registers are very speed compared to the getting the data from the outside memory, so that whenever the microprocessor is accessing the data from the internal register, so that the speed of the processor is more when the processor is accessing the data from the input output devices or the memory. So here, and we are having all these 4 general purpose registers are 16-bit register, but most of the time 8086 microprocessor deals with the 8-bit of data, 8-bit of instruction. In such cases, these 16-bit of registers, 16-bit registers are divided into 2 8-bit register, 8-bit register plus 8-bit register. Totally it is a 16-bit, so that here AX will be divided into AH and AL. AH is a 8-bit register, AL is also 8-bit register. This 8-bit register, A is accumulator, H is nothing but higher byte of information. This is lower byte. This is higher byte and it is a lower byte of accumulator, or in other words we can say that AH stores the most significant byte data and AL stores the least significant byte is equals to 8 bits. So that here, even though it is all the registers in the 8086 microprocessors are 16-bit wide, but most of the time 8086 microprocessor is going to handle with the 8-bit of data, and in such cases we can allocate the 2 registers, two registers, each 8 bit, each register is 8 bit wide, and so that AX is divided into AH plus AL, which stores the most significant byte information, and it stores the least significant byte, or we can call it is higher order byte, and this is a lower order byte we can store. And coming to the BX is equals to BH plus BL, and CX is equals to, like that we can go with. And not only this general purpose registers perform this storing the data of 16-bit variable, and it stores the intermediate results, but also it performs some specific operations. That specific operations I am going to explain now. And first one, AX is nothing but it is a accumulator register. It is divided into AH and AL. The main functionality of accumulator register, it not only stores the data, it also performs the 8-bit multiplication, 8-bit division. It also stores the some operands. Coming to the next one, base register, and a base register is going to hold the effective address of a memory location, because the memory is interfaced to the 8086 microprocessor externally, and that is a 1 megabyte of memory can be accessed by the 8086 microprocessor. From that 1 megabyte of memory, some specific address location can be accessed, and that address will be stored in this address of that particular memory location is stored in the BX register, that base register. It holds the effective address of the memory location. Coming to the next one is about CX, that is nothing but count register, that is count general purpose register. Default it acts as a counter. And the next one is a DX, that is a data register. Data register is nothing but it is going to hold the data of input output devices. It going to hold the data of input output devices. And here also DX is divided based on the size of the data. It is divided into AH and AL, and if it is only 8-bit of data is there, so that lower byte of register can be used. If it is more than 8-bit of data is there, higher byte and the lower byte of registers will be used to store that given data. That data are a variable or a intermediate result. So that the first type of the register organization, all these 14 16-bit registers, how they are organized in the internal structure of 8086 microprocessor is called register organization of 8086 microprocessor. That means what? In internally 8086 microprocessor is having 14 16-bit registers. How they are organized internally in the 8086 microprocessor will be explained by the register organization of 8086 microprocessor. And this is very, very important in the examination point of view. It can be asked for long answer questions. And the main function, it is used to store data, it is used to store variable, it is used to store some intermediate results when it is interrupted by the interrupt signal. This is about the general purpose register. And coming to the another register, that is segment registers. There are 4 segment registers are there. First one is about code segment, next one extra segment, next one is data segment, and next one is about stack segment. All these 4 segment registers, all these 4 segment registers are used to store the address location of a segment. Then we are going with the what is segment actually. Segment is nothing but division of part of one area is called a segment. Part or some area, some division of some area is called a segment. Here we are going with the segment register. Then and before going to study the segment registers and segment registers, we need to study what is the necessity of segment registers. Here we have discussed the 8086 microprocessor is having the 20-bit address lines. 20-bit address lines. By using this 20-bit address line, it can access maximum of 1 megabyte of memory externally. 20-bit of address line, it can have the 1 megabyte of memory it can be accessed directly by using the processor, that is 1 megabyte of memory. But in a given time, the 8086 microprocessor, it cannot access total 1 megabyte of memory. In a given time, it can access up to maximum of 64 kilobyte of memory only. That means what? Out of 1 megabyte of memory, only 64 kilobyte of memory can be accessed in a given time, in a specific time, and the maximum of 64 kilobytes can be accessed in a given time. If we divide this 1 megabyte of memory by 64 kilobyte of memory, it divides into the 4 segment. That means what? Each segment is 64 kilobyte, 64 kilobyte, 64 kilobyte, and this is also 64 kilobyte, and 464 kilobyte is equals to 1 megabyte. That means what? It is a processor, it is interfaced with the external memory, but the processor in a given time cannot access a total 1 megabyte of memory. It can access only 64 kilobyte of memory in a given time. It can access maximum of 64 kilobyte of memory in a given time. Either it can be used this one, and this one, and this one at a time. So here the dividing the total 1 megabyte of memory, external memory, into the 4 segments, that is called memory segmentation, and this is also very, very important definition as the pipelining concept. Memory segmentation is nothing but the 8086 microprocessor is having the 20-bit address lines. By using 20-bit address lines, the 8086 microprocessor can interface a maximum of 1 megabyte of memory, but in a given time the microprocessor cannot access the whole 1 megabyte of memory. It can access only 64 kilobyte of memory in the given time, and if we divide the total 1 megabyte of memory into the 64 kilobyte of memory, and this is named as memory segmentation. Each segment is about the 64 kilobyte memory. It is 64 kilobyte, 64 kilobyte, 64 kilobyte. This is totally 1 megabyte. This is totally 1 megabyte of memory. It can be accessed by the microprocessor. Internally, the microprocessor is having some segment registers, code segment register, data segment registers, extra segment register, and the stack segment register. That means what? Here to here it is a stack segment, and here to here extra segment, here to here extra segment, here to data segment, here to here code segment. Each segment is about 64 kilobyte. Here also this is 64 kilobyte. This is also 64 kilobyte. This is also 64 kilobyte. Totally it is 1 megabyte of memory. That means here these are the segments, and the starting address of this segment memory will be stored in the internally, that is the segment register. Here we are having SS. That means what? It is a stack segment register. It is a 16-bit register which holds the starting address of stack segment. It is a segment of total 64 kilobyte, but this starting memory location will be stored in the 16-bit register, that is a stack segment register. And coming to the next one, ES, it is a 16-bit register. It is a CS. ES is nothing but extra segment, and it is a 16-bit register. 16-bit register, this extra segment register holds the starting address of extra segment memory. And coming to the next one is a data segment register. It is a 16-bit wide. It holds the starting address of the data segment memory. And the last one is CS, that is code segment. Then here the starting address of the code segment memory is stored in the code segment register. All these four are 16-bit wide. The main purpose of segment registers, that means what? 1 megabyte of memory is divided into 4 segments. Each segment starting address is stored in the microprocessor internally using the segment register. That is the concept. That means what? The starting address of each segment of the memory, outside memory, is stored internally in the microprocessor using the segment registers, that are code segment, extra segment, data segment, and the stack segment. And here we can calculate the memory location of the any particular segment by using the row and the column address. Row address and the column address. By using the row and column address, we can calculate the location of that particular given in the memory, and that location is named as physical address. Physical address can be calculated by making use of row as well as column, and the physical address definition is very important, and the calculation of physical address can be asked in the short answer question. That is, physical address is equals to segment address shifted by the 4 bits left plus offset address. Here offset address is nothing but it is a column address, and the segment address is nothing but it is a row address. Row address is this one and the column address is this one. This address location is named as physical address. Physical address is calculated as segment address shifted by 4 bits left plus offset address. Offset address is nothing but column address. This is offset address, and the segment address is named as it is a row address. And if you go with the calculation of physical address by using one particular example, calculate the physical address of the given, calculate the physical address of the given offset address and the segment address. I am going with the one particular example to solve this one. Physical address, we need to calculate the physical address, that is equals to formula segment address is shifted by 4 bits left plus offset address. Here this one is a segment address. Segment address is given by segment address is what? 1005H. H is nothing but hexadecimal number. It is representing the hexadecimal number. Each number is replaced with the 4-bit binary data. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Total it is a 16-bit, because 8086 microprocessor is a 16-bit processor, and it is a segment address is 1005H, and the offset address we took, that is 5555H. We need to calculate the physical address. That is what? Segment address is shifted by 4 bits left. First write the segment address 1 in the hexadecimal number, that is 0001, and 0 is nothing but all 4 zeros, and again 4 zeros. 5 is nothing but 0101. This is segment address, but we require to shift, that is left side by 4 bits, so that it has to shift left side, so that 4 bit it shift. That means what? Here to here, here to here, here to here. That means what? The last 4 bits will be empty, and that 4 bits will be replaced by 4 zeros. I hope I am clear. That is the total number has to shift 4 bits. Each bit has to shift 4 bit left. This will be here, this will be here, this will be here, this will be here. That means what? The first bit will be empty in shifting first bit, and second bit, last 2 bits will be empty, and third, last 3 bit will be empty. Fourth shift, then for last 4 bits will be empty. That is replaced by all zeros. Then plus offset address, segment address shifted 4 bits left plus offset address. Offset address is all 5s. All these are hexadecimal numbers, so that here 5 is 0101, and here also 0101, and here also 0101, and here also 0101. We have to add. Now it is going with 0101, and here this is 0, this is 1, then 0, and this is 1. And this is what? 0101. This is what? 0101. This is what? 0001. So this is 1, in hexadecimal number system? It is 5, and next one is about, this is 5, and next one 1010 is A, and this is 5. This is physical address of a given memory location, that is 155A5. This is hexadecimal number. Like this we can calculate the physical address. With this we have completed the three things in this video. One is register organization, in which we have discussed the two types. One is general purpose register, another one is a segment register. In the concept of segment registers, we have studied how to calculate the physical address of a memory location. In tomorrow's class we will complete the remaining three registers in the register organization. Thank you.